Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I just want to let everyone know off the bat, this is in no way affecting me getting a slice of pizza later on today. So I just want to kind of make that clear and get that out of the way, before there's any questions or comments. So still looking at getting a slice of pizza, but just going to, film and edit this. And so I'm not really worried about it, but, that's still the goal going forward, just so you know. Today we are doing Saturday night's main events, yays and boos. It's a controversial one. I think everyone just kind of forgets what this show is every single time. So like the title suggests, we're going to go through a bunch of your hot takes. I'm going to give them a yay. I'm going to give them a boo. Yay means agree. Boo means disagree. Nothing more than that. Before we get started, please make sure you subscribe, leave your likes, leave your comments with some hot takes that maybe aren't featured, your opinions on things, blah, blah, blah. Follow me on everything. It's all in the description. All right, with that said, let's get started. Let's knock out the first one here. It says, Jesse Ventura complaining about walking out the cage door was hilarious. This is a yay. We are starting off strong. Some people are going to criticize Jesse. I think there might be some hot takes criticizing him or whatever. Ultimately, love it. He's done with the BS, which I appreciate. He's speaking like the veteran that he is, someone that cares about wrestling, a little bit old school, but he's not like old school where he's outdated, just old school of like, hey, what the hell? This part is dumb now. And I think that's so valid for him to bring up. And I'm fully in the camp where it's a steel cage match. We want the cool thing to happen. It's not SmackDown versus Raw where you're not hitting like B, hey, why? Trying to crawl out the cage? Like, that's cool. That's cinematic. In real life, Damian Priest just walking out the cage. You gotta go over that sucker. I'm fully on Jesse Ventura's side with this. I think he even said, like, oh, I get the limo to pick you up on the way out or whatever. He called him a whip. I don't know. I love it. I get that it's not part of the agenda. Damian is the face. He's supposed to be kind of praised and look like a badass or beating Drew McIntyre. But I like this realism and this authenticity that Jesse Ventura brings, and I think some people are gonna be critical of it because like, oh, you gotta follow the script or whatever, but I love it. This is a yay off the bat. I'd be curious if we got it every single week. I do feel like it might get old, but I think a special occasion is a nice, refreshing add to the commentary team. But so I don't know. I'm not gonna say nothing crazy and be like, get him there every week. Well, I'd love to try. I see where it could go wrong, but ultimately love him. I need more Jesse Ventura until, we're sick of him. So, all right, this next one says they need to add some different faces to the women's U.S. title picture. As much as I enjoy Chelsea Green, Michin, and Zelina Vega, to me it feels like these are the only three actually in the picture. I mean, Michin is like barely in the picture. She's like kind of in the picture, but always losing. B-Fab's a little bit in there. They got Julia, Naomi, Jade Cargill, Alexa Bliss, etc. All right, this is another yay to start things off. The women's IC belt has for sure been booked stronger. I think a lot of problems with the women's US belt is, it does just come down to the booking, the lack of attention to it. I mean, SmackDown just kind of struggles in a lot of areas. It's like the tag team division is just like here, and everything else is like, we got Cody back, which is great. So maybe that's going to, help the show not feel like 10 hours. But I agree, as much as, the division might not be the strongest, signed to WWE, whether you're on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, whatever, you have the most talent you've ever had, especially in terms of women. So yeah, I agree. Add some, as much as I've been critical of kind of, I think I talked about last episode where now I'm kind of off my soapbox of being like, oh, the mid-carders just need to be here, and a Becky Lynch or a Bailey or a whatever, an Alexa in this case, shouldn't be in the mid-card. I'm kind of off that, especially because, not to repeat myself, John Cena US title, AJ, Shinsuke, the list goes on of main eventers with the mid-card title. You have it. You should make it feel important. You should make it compelling. So yeah, I think it would help out, Zelina, Chelsea, Michin for sure if they add more stars, add more competition. Because then also, what is this? The 5th or 6th? I think it said Zelina was 4-0, now 5-0 against Chelsea. So as much as I do love Chelsea, I do love the Secret Hervis. Thank you for your service. She does make sense to be around the US title given her character, but I think Julia is Julia, Naomi, Jade, Alexa, everyone you named, I think are perfect contenders for the mid-card title. Because not everyone can go after the main title. So while people are, have the main title story, have some real high-profile names in this mid-card title. Make it better. It helps Zelina out. It helps Chelsea out. Not talking circles, but I fully agree. We'll move on next. This says, Bronson Reed being the third man after showing Seth what he is capable of is such a great, unexpected move. You know me, I'm a sucker for a shock, an unexpected move, a twist and a turn, so this is getting a yay. I'm holding my breath. I'm not really saying my opinion yet. Ultimately, I like Bronson Reed returning just like in general. I like that he's with the faction. I like that that they are not just copying like Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo of like, oh, now they're on the same team, but they don't like each other because they're big men and they're like, blah. I like that we got Braun Breaker kind of like meeting Bronson Reed in a sense, and they shook hands, and it was like, okay, yeah, we are fully on the same team. It's wrestling. I'm sure things are going to come to a head eventually. Braun Breaker might get sick of Bronson Reed, or Braun Breaker, I think, is going to face Seth eventually. So that's going to happen. But right now, I'm into it. I do need some explanation, though, because I am for sure in the camp. And I do understand, like, oh, Bronson Reed proved himself to Seth that he is a scary and dangerous man. And Seth's like, I want you on my team. However, the way Bronson Reed left Seth was kind of like, hey, I don't need you, Seth. I destroyed you, so why would I be your, employee, basically? Which it's very easy to tell a story of just like, oh, you can go with this story. Like, he proved myself, and I want to make him, better and bigger than he is, and like whatever. But it needs to be clear of just like, we can't just ignore the fact that Bronson Reed did destroy Seth, like whatever it was a few months ago. So ultimately, I like it right now. I'm not fully buying in on just like it makes sense for sure, and I get it. So we know what Bronson Reed did, but I'm fully on the train. Explain it to me. I'm not going to be super critical about it. I love the faction. I love the faction even more. Great. All right, next one says, Saturday Night's Main Event is not a, quote, glorified house show like people love to call it, but it's certainly not on the level of a PLE. It is a nostalgia-themed bonus episode of Raw/SmackDown, and our future expectations should be set to that dial accordingly. Look, I agree with everything you said. However, you did just describe what a glorified house show is, and that's okay. Like, glorified house show is definitely used in a negative term, but like, you are kind of describing what a glorified house show is. It is just a bonus episode. All right, maybe this is where I'm getting on my soapbox here. I was kind of on Twitter going back and forth with it, but it is simply a bonus episode of WWE that's like usually barely canon. This episode being like pretty canon, and also like, progress a lot of stories. We got a lot of John Cena stuff, which I liked. Obviously Bronson Reed coming back, and blah, blah, blah. But people do need to understand that this is a WWE show on NBC. Let me say that again. It's just on a prime time spot on a Saturday night at 8 p.m. on NBC. And I'm going to say something that a lot of people are like, let me explain myself. It's not necessarily a show for us. And yes, any wrestling show should be for any wrestling fan. By not for us, I mean they are attempting to get a wider audience and tap back into maybe people, like you said, it's nostalgia theme, tap back into people who used to watch it, get them back, or new fans, which is why like a Logan Paul was on the show. Now, to be clear, once I said this was effective, I'm not saying it was a quality show. This is not an excuse for the quality, whether you liked the show or you didn't like the show. That's not a comment on like, it was good, and they did get a lot of fans. I'm just saying that's the goal. Me explaining that that's the goal isn't necessarily me saying how effective it is, Because yes, it is the goal of them being on NBC and putting a John Cena and a Logan Paul and whatever in whatever matches to appeal to a mainstream audience. The mainstream audience knows who a John Cena and a Logan Paul is. They want to see world title matches. They want to see a steel cage match. And then there's sprinklings for, there's Jesse Ventura that like the hardcore fan loves. And a steel cage match is something a hardcore fan loves. And a hardcore fan might more so know who a Damian Priest is than a very casual or mainstream viewer who hasn't watched wrestling in 12 years. But that is the goal of Saturday Night's Main Event. It's literally a 2-hour advertisement on like, hey, you see these big stars? John Cena's back. You should come watch it on, Netflix or USA and see these stars again if you liked a little bit of what you saw. Because the average person isn't going to be so critical. Everyone's like, oh, people aren't going to come back for Logan Paul. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Hate to break it to you. Yes, they are. Am I a fan of that? Not necessarily, but like it's true. And I wouldn't even say that sucks. And again, I'm not saying it's very effective to maybe keep a long-term fan or a fan that might be considered like, you really know graps. But that hasn't been WWE's goal in a long time. I haven't given this a yay or a boo yet. While I disagree with you not calling it a glorified house show, I think it's a fine term, especially for what you describe. So ultimately, like, I agree with everything you're saying. I'm giving this a yay. But it's fine to just have like a fun, silly bonus episode of TV. If you look back at every Saturday Night's Main Event is like this. If you look at back in the history, Ruthless Aggression, even before that, it's just a primetime spot to put big stars and put on a spectacle, and it's just a one-off show, and it's fine. But people expect and granted, I'm not saying it's people's fault, because WWE always, especially for the past handful, have hyped this up, and I do think this is one of the better Saturday Night's Main Events, probably the best one in recent memory, but they do hype it up like a PLE, so I understand why your expectations would be there. It's not your fault. I'm just saying you gotta zoom out a little bit and realize that, hey, it's not that level. It's not even at the level of a Raw. It's like kind of on par with SmackDown, admittedly. But so I don't know. That's my soapbox. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I think I maybe explain myself well. I don't know. Move on. All right, so next one says there were way 3 Ys, too many commercials, and not enough wrestling. All the matches felt pretty short. I mean, I'm giving this a yay because like I agree with everything you're saying. I don't love ads. I wish there was less commercials. I think a lot of the ads took me out of a lot of the show. Should there be more wrestling on a wrestling TV show that you get to see? Absolutely. I full-heartedly agree. That even like maybe goes back to like, you know, the other thing we were talking about. However, while this is a yay, it does just go back to like, you know, it is on NBC. It's just a primetime show. If you ever watch anything on NBC, there's a commercial every 5 minutes. It sucks. I'm not excusing it. I'm just telling you how it is and giving you a reason. Well, I think people are misconstruing like me being like, hey, this is like the reason for things. This is like probably why they're doing it. It's like, Cope, oh, you love ads, whatever. Like, no, I agree. If I could have it my way, there'd be no ads. I hate the ads on the ring. I say that pretty much every episode of this show. Is me whining about it gonna change how NBC, does their programming? No. So I can dislike it while also being like, yeah, I mean, whatever. But I agree with you. I mean, this is a pessimistic way to look at it, but I do agree. Less ads, more wrestling. However, nothing we can do about it. So, this next one says, Cody needs some part of the bloodline attached to him to be relevant in the main event picture. Take away the bloodline, you've got an uneventful / unmemorable title reign. Ooh, I mean, this is a boo, because this is just like basically saying, hey, you take away the story and the title reign sucks. Where it's like, yeah. And the bloodline story was great. It's a 2-year-long story starting at 39, or going on 2 years, I guess I should say. Starting at 39, he had to come back. We're sure. I'm a little sick of like so much bloodline involvement. But, like, it's where his story's been for the past 2 years. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did I give this a boo already? It's a boo because it's just like, I get what you're saying. Like, I would like Cody to maybe have, like, other storylines and whatever. But bloodline stuff has been a reasoning and motive so much for him. If you take away all the bloodline stuff, we don't get the main events of WrestleMania 39 and the main events of WrestleMania 40. The tag team match included with The Rock and all the memorable moments with The Rock. You don't get any of that. So, well, I get where you're coming from. You're wanting more for Cody, but ultimately, it's like, I don't know, you take away the good and memorable parts of everything, even with the bad parts, and you're left with not much. So it's just kind of like, yeah, but you know. All right, speaking of Cody, this says, Cody came back too soon. Boo off the bat. I'm sorry, boo off the bat. I haven't read it yet, but I love me some Cody. Sure, keep someone off TV more to miss someone. However, 3-hour SmackDown needs Cody. So Cody's back. I'm happy. The pop he got was electric. Let's keep going. I don't see how you drag the story between him and Cena to the end of the year unless they give Cody the win at SummerSlam, which to be honest might be the right thing to do. This reign sucks. Whoa, okay. I'm sticking with my boo, only because, God, I mean, I feel like I'm the only one that likes this John Cena heel run. Could it be better? Absolutely. Is there a different direction they could have been where it would have been better? Sure, I don't disagree inherently. Was this, the straw hasn't broken the camel's back yet for me. This is kind of like not what you're saying, but we're talking about it anyway. I love the R-Truth match. Genuinely, I really love the R-Truth match. I love R-Truth coming out, being the metaphorical fan. I think I talked about this in the SmackDown yays and boos. It honestly lasted way longer than I thought it would, the match I'm saying. I just don't know if I needed the low. Cena does not need to low blow R-Truth to beat R-Truth. I would have much preferred if he just beat him down and like angry, like, I hate you, and treat him like the fans he hates and like blah, blah, blah. Did not need the distraction and then the kick. I like the title hit afterward. The title hit is like that aggression and that like, like the way he did it too. He hit him and just kept on momentum and walked out of the ring. That I liked. Didn't need the low blow to beat him. That's my criticism. And now the straw is starting to break the camel's back. I think if we get one more PLE match where he's low blowing people, then I'm fully on the other side of like, all right, this is not great. But I'm still on the train. I'm having fun personally. I can see the comments, Cope. God forbid I find some enjoyment in the thing I love. Jesus Christ. But anyway, to your point of dragging him and Cena, this part I fully agree and see your skepticism on like, hey, we are early. We are pretty still fresh out of WrestleMania 41. How are they going to drag it? However, I don't think you can keep Cody on the shelf until a SummerSlam where it's like, okay, we're slowly getting back into Mania season. Now we can build the Cena feud. I think you do the tag match at Money in the Bank. I think these two can still do other stuff. Like I think, oh no, we're not getting Punk Cena at Money in the Bank. That just hit me. That sucks. However, I still think we can get like Randy Orton-esque matches, like the CM Punk and like other matches that Cena can have in between like all the Cody stuff and whatever. And I do want to see Cody do some other stuff. Kind of like the other person was saying that they're sick of the Bloodline stuff. Not that John Cena has anything to do with the Bloodline, but I think you can meet and come apart and meet again, especially if you're on different brands. Maybe they kind of focus Cena more on Raw for a while, focus Cody on SmackDown. There's ways to do it. I mean, we dragged out stories for a year pretty successfully for the past couple WrestleManias. So I fully get your skepticism and your worry. Also, I mean, Cody win at SummerSlam, maybe. Who knows? Maybe that's the plan. Maybe the plan isn't for Cena to go all the way until December to drop it in Boston. Maybe he does lose it at SummerSlam. Maybe he gets it back and gets 18. Maybe he just loses it and goes on like a face run. Is that where he turns face? And the whole second half, well, I don't know if that's half, but the whole next part of his run is a face. I think ultimately we're not getting the whole 365 of him as a heel, I think. Could be wrong. I don't know. But I appreciate this. Ultimately, it's a boo, mainly because he's like, I like Cody. I'm glad seeing him back. But I get where you're coming from. All right, last one of the day. Well, I do feel like people are blowing Zelina's botch way out of proportion. Agreed. I do think she should consider not using the 619 as one of her signatures. It's one of those moves that others just don't make look good unless your name is Rey Mysterio. All right, this is a yay. I'm going to kind of take this and expand upon it too. In terms of Zelina, I'm kind of using this moment to defend my girl Zelina. Listen. We were all on Zelina. So everyone's rooting for her and, oh, she's underrated. She's underappreciated. She should be utilized more. She finally gets the title. Now, she has one bad match that was only given 5 minutes. And now everyone's like, she can't wrestle. She doesn't know what she's doing in the ring. What are you talking about? Well, she's very solid to good to pretty great in the ring. I don't know what people are talking about. You have one bad match. And granted, look, hey, listen, it was a bad match. I'm not saying it was a good match. I'm not really defending it at all. Granted, they should have gotten more time. They only got 5 minutes. I think that was an uphill battle from the start. And look, I'll say this. If we continue for lackluster and kind of poor performances from Zelina, then like, sure, there's a conversation to be had. But this one kind of lackluster performance doesn't discredit Zelina's whole career and ability as a wrestler. But I know this isn't what you're saying. This is me kind of like, going on to what isn't a hot take in here, but like what I've seen online. Because I agree with you, that people are blowing Zelina's botch and performance as a whole out of the way. The botch is tough. It is tough that she kind of, she missed the 619, ended up kicking Chelsea in the face, and you got the blood. And it's really unfortunate. You don't like seeing that, especially when it kind of, further injures your opponent on a mess up. It sucks. It fully sucks. I just don't think one poor performance that's just like, I'm sure Zelina's not hyped that she, broke Chelsea's nose or whatever, or didn't hit the 619. So listen, I think we're fine. I hope Zelina has like a match soon that she gives a good performance, kind of just be like, hey, it was an off day. People have an off day, God forbid. To the 619 point, though, I fully agree. I give this a yay. I'm giving this a yay if I didn't already say it. I do agree, and it's not just because I'm a Rey Mysterio guy, and I'm not saying that only one person should do a 619. I don't know what, Dom doesn't even do a good 619. Granted, he's like super tall, but like no one seems to be able to do it nearly, even like a tenth of effectively clean, smooth, fast, or as hard looking as Rey Mysterio. And I appreciate Zelina doing it as kind of an ode, to the LWO. And I think they claim Rey's her mentor and all this stuff. I like Dom doing it, obviously, because of the Mysterio name. But I would not mind if both those people stopped doing it, because it's just not a move they can pull off well. And this has nothing to do with anything. I am not a wrestler. I had maybe 3 total days of training, but for the match that I participated in, I wanted to do a 619s. When we were training, I was like training, for 619s. Like, this is like gonna be the most obvious thing in the world, but oh my God, was it hard. I could not understand it. And the wrestlers who I was training with weren't like small cruiserweight guys. So they couldn't really be like, oh, dude, they could give me pointers and stuff. But I probably attempted a 619, no exaggeration, like this isn't gonna be like a huge number, 40 or 50 times before I was finally just like, all right, I'm not doing it in the match, call it. You gotta, it's so, Ray makes it look so easy, which I think is almost a credit to a Zelina or Dom for how they can like, pull it off sometimes, where it's like, it's so much upper body strength. It's always upper body strength to hold yourself perpendicular to the ring while you have to swing. It's unreal. I fell on my ass, and this is, like I said, I'm not comparing myself to a Zelina or a Dom Mysterio attempting it. Like, if Ray's here and they're already kind of down here, I am at the ground level. You know what I mean? So this is more of just a little story time as opposed to me trying to relate. But yeah, anyway, final thoughts. Lay off Zelina. Let's relax. Not everything's for you, and that's okay. It's not a cope just because WWE is making an attempt at getting new fans, regardless of how effective or ineffective it is. I really like Cena Truth. I'm still on board with the Cena heel turn, as much as you don't want to admit it, and I don't even like it, but like, you know, a mainstream audience will tune in and go to Raw if for Logan Paul. Just see, it's why they've been selling out those dumb boxing matches like years ago or whatever. Bronson Reed being at it's cool. I'm not jumping ship yet or whatever. I need some explanation, but I also understand, like, hey, just because one thing happens, there's still more shows to get a story, and I don't know, whatever. All right, I'm taking up enough time. Thank you for being here. Please let me know your comments. I know I feel like I came in hot. Everyone cool down. I'm gonna get a slice of pizza later just to, you know, keep everyone abreast on that. The pizza's still happening, so follow me on Instagram for that kind of endeavor to make sure I get it. I'm holding myself accountable. Check out Stash Club stuff. You get it. All right, I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Bye.